let's see here. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes. Get in here. 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 Warm up the room. Let me see if I can tweet this out before I start here. Yeah, let's go here. Let's see here. We're gonna start this in a minute. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. Put a 1 in the chat. Hold on a second, guys. I want to tweet this out from my other account. Let me tweet this out from my other account. Okay. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. Where the hell is my other phone at? I gotta use my tablet here. I'm not in the office today. I had to do some other things. I'm not in the office today. I'm planning a trip, so I couldn't be in the office today. You know, your boy got many irons in the fire. But we're going to talk about the Diddy Doc in a second. I want to go ahead and send this over to my other account. But hope everybody is doing well. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, yeah, I see you right there. All right, they're going to go ahead and send this over to my other account. But hope everybody is doing well. Okay, just tweeting that right there. I'm gonna tweet that out live. Let's go. Here we go. All right, we got that. That's tweet. Okay, here we go, guys. All right, just want to move around a little bit. Okay. First and foremost, I always do this, guys. I always say this. I always plan to cook, but I plan to cook, but then I really plan to cook because I have this big deep freezer. I didn't take any meat out the freezer. So now I might have to go to a restaurant tonight. But I'll see how I feel. I don't feel like Mexican. I don't feel like Chinese. I had Chinese last night. But I want to talk about this Diddy Doc. I'm going to sit here and chill out here. Let me kick back here. Get comfortable here. So, I spoke with my sources today, and we talked about what was referenced in court during sentencing day. And there was a lot going on that day, and I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that you guys probably didn't hear. But I'm going to share some of the things that happened. One of the things that happened was when Quincy Combs or Brown, depending upon what you guys... Daddy-daughter day? Listen, someone asked me, how's Daddy-daughter day? Well, I'm mad at Chris Brown. I'm going to tell you why I'm mad at Chris Brown. How the hell Chris Brown going to interfere with me? Daddy-daughter day. He had the audacity to do a concert in the city on Daddy-daughter day. He had the audacity to do a concert on Daddy-daughter day. If it's not Chris Brown, it's Usher. My oldest daughter like Usher. My younger daughter like Chris Brown. I didn't have to deal with this. Like when they were small. It wasn't that serious. I had to deal with the B2K and Bow Wow. But now they're grown, and now I'm dealing with the Usher and the Chris Brown. See, I bet not ever see my daughter on no Usher stage. I bet not ever see no glass of cherries in front of my daughter, or Daddy jumping on the stage, and he ain't jumping on the stage to. I'm gonna be nice, and Chris Brown with his flying in the sky and doing all this crazy. I mean, these guys. Listen, when I got to compete against two of the most successful guys in entertainment, I gotta figure this thing out. I'm gonna have to start dancing. Well, I do dance anyway. You guys didn't see my moves. I think Usher may have stole some of my moves. I don't know. And Chris Breezy think he got it going on. But I don't know. My kids might say otherwise. But anyway. But yeah, as far as my daddy daughter day, I'm competing against these entertainers, and I'm hating right now. But anyway, we'll talk about that. I had to let them do what they wanted to do. I had to take a step back. Um, but we'll talk about that. I even said to my daughter, I said, "You gonna let this guy come between us? You gonna let this entertainer come between us?" But I digress. In any event, guys, so what happened in the court, for those who don't know, Quincy was the first one to speak. And he said, "I'm Quincy Brown. I am Sean Combs' son, oldest son." Why did Justin, I'm just asking the question, no one's reporting this, why did Justin come back and say, "I'm Justin Combs, I'm Sean Combs' first son"? Okay, couldn't they have? I don't know. I hope there's no rift there. I just pray there's no rift there, because let's be honest, Quincy was around a little longer. He was around a little longer. I'm sorry, I'm moving around, guys. And pretty much he's been a part of Puff's life from early on. When like very early on, because Kim left, I'll be sure, early, early. But I'm telling you guys, very interesting sentencing. So the government spent almost $15 million. They spent over $15 million to prosecute Sean Combs for RICO, and all these other related crimes. And those crimes, he was found, the most serious ones, he was found innocent. The government asked for 11 and a half years time. Judge Subterranean, the radical judge, decided to meet closer to the middle, which I knew was going to happen. I said this, I spoke to certain people. I said this was going to happen. The government knew they weren't getting 11 and a half years. But in asking for the 11 and a half years, they also asked for a fine of $500,000. Of $500,000. Right. People say Quincy grew up in Georgia. Well, Kim, for those who know, Kim is from Georgia. You guys know Kim is from Georgia. I went to Kim's funeral. She's from Georgia. So he asked, the government asked for a fine of $500,000, and they submitted a forfeiture list. A forfeiture list. That forfeiture list contained some of Diddy's assets. It was a moot point to argue that during sentencing, because Mr. Combs conceded that he was okay with that, but he wanted his freedom. So that was part of the negotiation. So they didn't argue that. People wonder, well, what forfeiture, what are they talking about? We know there was testimony by both Cassie and Jane Doe about freak-offs. Well, the judge said, Judge Subterranean simply said that anywhere there were freak-offs, he would forfeit those properties. So the question that many people have been asking on social media is, was there freak offs at either one of his homes, Los Angeles or Star Island? That's what many people were asking. And if you guys recall, when testimony started, the first witness that was called was a LAPD, the police officer and former security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel, Flores. After Flores was called, the entertainer was called Phillips, who was being cross-examined by Xavier Donaldson. Brian Still cross-examined Flores. Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me. Stay with me. The next witness that was going to testify, could anyone remember who was the third witness at the trial? Type in the chat. Who was the third witness in the trial? Stay with me now. We know Flores was number one. We know Phillips was number two. Who was the third witness? Can anyone guess? Come on, you guys. Come on, you gotta do better now. Anyway, uh, so you didn't guess it. No, Punisher was outside the courthouse on Friday crying. He was upset. Now he was crying afterwards. He was crying in the courtroom in the overflow room. He was crying in the overflow room because he think Puff should have got time served. He think Puff should have got time served. And he and other entertainers are starting some type of coalition. From what I was told, some type of coalition. I don't know exactly the scope of that coalition, but they're starting some type of coalition. But in any event, Cassie had to testify. There was one time there was a freak off at a Puff residence. I don't know if you guys remember that. There was a freak off at a Puff residence. But here's the kicker. He sold that residence, from what I'm told. There was a home that he owned that he sold. So, what do you think is on that asset forfeiture? The list is coming out tomorrow. The list is coming out tomorrow. We'll know exactly what is on that list tomorrow. Because he did nothing at Star Island. Cassie never testified that there was a freak off at Star Island. Was there testimony that there was a freak off in LA? Because there was baby oil seized at his LA residence. There was testimony by Cassie who said that Puff would fill up a rubber tub or have a rubber tub filled up with baby oil and have her get in with her clothes on. Interesting. But that was the testimony. That was the testimony. So he required a lot of baby oil. A lot of baby oil. So my guess is all that baby oil is going to be forfeited. Whatever he had, boxes and boxes or whatever it was, the government's taking that back. There were freak offs at hotels. They were hotel nights. Jane Doe testified in 2024 after the lawsuit that there was a freak off at the residence that she stayed in. But that's a rented residence that he doesn't own. That's a rented residence that he doesn't own. So I've asked, could anyone tell me from his team, what exactly did the government request in their letter? Because they were trying to go back and forth before the sentencing and talking about forfeiture. Someone said, does Diddy parole restrict baby oil? No, I don't think. Diddy's going to be on a 5-year. He's going to be on a 5-year probation. Diddy will be home in 2 years or less, based on the calculation. I ran the numbers. He had 50 months, 4.2 years. He's been in 13 months. He doesn't do 100% federal time. So anyone say he got to do 100%, he doesn't do 100% federal time. He gets 160 months every year that he's inside. 160 months every year that he's inside. The first year is going to be credited towards the time. So if they use that first year, he'll get a credit of 160 months for that first year that he was being an MDC. So that's 160 off of his time. The second year will be another 160 months. He has to do a program. Then he's eligible for the First Step Act. He's eligible for President Trump's First Step Act. He's a first-time offender. You guys look up the First Step Act. So he's eligible for that. He's eligible for that as well. So his crime that he was convicted of was prostitution. This case is going to get appealed. That's right, REDAP. That's correct. This case is going to get appealed. This judge decided that he wanted to ignore the jury's verdict of the acquitted acts and make Sean Combs pay for the things that the state of California didn't charge him with. And that was the Intercontinental. They want him to pay for that. That's what they want him to pay for. The judge wants him to pay for that. So they're going to argue that, ladies and gentlemen. It is my belief that at that press conference, when his attorney said his conviction is unconstitutional, this is going to the Supreme Court, if it has to be. It may not go to the Supreme Court. It may a lower judge, which will be a higher judge than a district judge, may agree and he has to be resentenced, or they're going to kick the case out. Or they're going to say it's unconstitutional. So the minute they file their appeal, there's a stay on forfeiting his assets and the fine. They filing that right. They're going to file that very soon. Very soon. Someone said, appeal cannot get you more time. Appeal is just going to appeal the time that you got. Appeal doesn't give you more time. Just stop typing right now. Stop typing. Why would an appeal get you more time? Huh? Let's play devil's advocate for a second. If, say for example, he's granted a new trial, because that was one of the things that they requested during the hearing, a new trial Rule 29 and Rule 30, 31 is one of them. And he gets a new trial. And he doesn't succeed in a new trial. He gets a new judge too. Because he's not going back in front of the same judge. He's going to go get a different judge. He gets a new trial. He gets a new trial, and he blows trial. In sentencing, the judge will probably likely not go above what this judge said and give him a reasonable sentence. And here's the other part. The prosecutors may not even want to go through the rigmarole of a new trial. He might just say, no, we're not doing this again. And he's going to appeal, get his money back. Well, he's going to get that anyway. And whatever they're trying to forfeit. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And the judge, in my belief, if this is my belief, the judge, no matter what anyone said, was already prepared to give him that sentence. He had a full speech ready at the end of the sentence. A well-written speech, I won't say it was well-written. I don't agree with it, but it was well-written. Some things I do agree with it. Some things, I'll be honest, I do agree with some of the things he said. And that's because I have daughters. And I cannot ignore the fact that it is my belief, and I said this before, I don't know if people paid attention, that had he not had the resources, the financial wherewithal, some people wouldn't have did certain things. Because if you remember the testimony of the first witness, when he went into the hotel room, he saw a man dressed in all black sitting on the edge of the bed. Who remembers that testimony? And then Puff came to him with a stack of bread. Here, take this, just fix it. Take this, fix it. That's what was said during the testimony of Flores. And Flores also said, which is debatable because Brian still called him out on it, you said he had a devilish look in his eye. Well, I won't say it's debatable. There was some crazy things they were doing in that room. And the video that kept being played for the jurors in the opening, throughout the trial, in slow-mo, in fast mode, was damning. It was damning. It was the foundation for their case. They banked on the jurors hating Sean Combs so much that they were going to ignore the law and just nullify their decision with a guilty verdict. They thought that. They believed. This is what I believe that the prosecution believed, but it didn't work like that. There was great arguments by, great argument by Mr. Niflio during the closing. I sat right there, watched him. I watched Mr. Niflio deliver a masterful closing. Some argued that Mr. Niflio shouldn't have mentioned about the 2016 incident, but he had to, because this was played throughout the trial. He said that if they would have charged him with just the Mann acts, he would have pled guilty to the Mann acts. He said he would pled guilty to the Mann acts. If they were just told, if they wouldn't have charged with any, this is what was said during the closing. During the sentencing. Had they charged him just with the Mann acts, he would have pled guilty. He knew it was no trafficking. He wasn't sex trafficking anyone. He didn't burn up anyone's vehicle, blew up cars like some people were lying and saying that the car was blown up. I saw the pictures. The car, listen, you can get in that car today and drive that car. You could drive that car. It was a glove in the back. It was a glove in the back, and it was some charred, the seats were charred somewhat. But there was no car blown up. There was a lot of misinformation out there. It was a lot of misinformation out there that people ran with, and they didn't want to see the facts to the end. The facts to the end paint a different picture. And even with all that we've heard throughout the trial, there were witnesses that got on the stand and testified that they weren't seeking a financial reward or award, not reward, but award, because in a civil case, you are awarded if you win. Dante Nash wrote a letter. He wanted to come in. He told Xavier Donaldson under cross-examination that he had no intention of suing. He said, I don't have intention. When asked, do you have intention of suing Mr. Combs? Absolutely not. I have no intention of suing Mr. Combs. 2.5 months later, he's suing Mr. Combs. He's on CBS claiming that Puffy tried to choke him out. Like, it was just crazy to listen to this. You a grown man. You could have walked out if we'd have believed that even happened. Because it's so much. First of all, you're not gonna put your hand on, you're gonna put your hand on my neck because I'm gonna put something on you. But why do you come back? Like, it's like Capricorn Clark's testimony. She claimed that it was a big, brawly, big black guy in a room, a polygrapher, someone who gives polygraph exams, that threatened that if she didn't take this exam and tell the truth, she would find herself basically in the river. But she said she came back every day for 5 days, 9 to 5, and took this polygraph exam. So at what point do you say, I'm not coming back? I'm getting on a plane. I'm getting on a train. I'm never looking back. And this was because there was some jury. Jacob Jeweler loans jury for video shoots, and it went missing. They still haven't found the jury. They never found the jury. Never came back. But you heard people say they're not trying to sue, but they're writing letters. They wrote letters. They submitted letters. And you can tell based on what some of them wrote, they are setting up for the lawsuit. Good luck with that. I don't see that happening. I don't see you successfully winning those lawsuits. Now, Gina stand on business. She showed up. She showed up at the last day, sentencing. My only issue with Gina is, why the hell did you get on Tasha K and do that interview? What was that about? What was that about? And why did the government think that you would have been a good witness? I guess they thought you were a good witness because they saw Tasha K's interview. But you didn't come in. You didn't come in. So Gina was always a wild card for me. She was always a wild card. But she showed up the last day of sentencing day. She was in the overflow room too. She was in the overflow room as well. But she showed up. There's some people that showed up and they're going to, and I don't know how that would work. And people saying they're scared of Puff. Do anyone really believe that Puff has any interest of getting quote unquote revenge on anyone? When I heard people talking about they're scared that he's going to do this. When Cassie said that, Cassie, you got $30 million. Plus, you might get some of that $500,000. Why would Puffy, Sean Combs, do anything to you when you guys broke up back in 2018? You agreed. He knew that you had to come to court to testify once the government picked the case up. He knew this. You couldn't get around that. You could not walk. You could have get around it. You could have left the country. You didn't have to really testify. You could have left the country. You could have left the country, but obviously you had a plan. You had a plan. You had a plan. You had a plan to tell your story. And I don't know about her being able to do a book deal. I need to check with my legal analyst to see whether or not she can now do a book. Because she did take a settlement. I don't think she could do that book. She took a settlement. She got the money. I don't think she can do it. I think if she wants to do the book, she has to return the $20 million. I think if she wants to do that book, she could return the $20 million. I don't know how that book will sell because everyone knows everything now. So I don't know how good that book will be. What else is there that you didn't tell the world? You know, because you told a very harrowing story. I don't want to repeat it on this live, but what else could you tell? Or what? I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think she can make a lot of money. I think that if she can get out of if she gets him back his $20 million, who doesn't think that Cassie can make a lot more money than $20 million? TV deals, talk shows. Who don't think she can make more than $20 million? I think she can make more than $20 million. I'm just saying. I'm thinking that she probably could make a lot more money. But she got to return that $20 million. Who's going to a lot of that way? First of all, she's also looking at some lawsuits. So I don't know. Because I know certain celebrities that ran through $300 million. Certain celebrities have ran through 300 million. I ain't gonna say who he is. I know one that I've worked with that ran through $300 million. So $20 million ain't a lot of money. You got a bunch of mouths to feed. Let's be honest. $20 million ain't a lot of money when you got a bunch of mouths to feed and you make investments. And if you don't make good investments, that $20 million is gonna go real quick. Oh yeah. Oh, Mr. Alex. We ain't gonna talk about Alex. Fine. We ain't gonna talk about him. How he showed up at the court. You saw the picture. You go to Hip Hop and Quiet because I posted the picture I took of him. He's walking in there. First of all, you were the trainer. You were the trainer. But I ain't gonna talk about. Listen. I'm gonna leave Alex alone for right now. We're gonna leave Alex alone for right now. But I don't know. Alex was definitely looking out for himself. But they're married now. Let's see how that play out. If he hangs around 10 years, God bless. If he hangs around for 10 years, God bless. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Let's see. He won't be able to get bond. Nah, not no, he won't be able to get bond. Pending appeal. He'll be out. Because it's gonna take at least 18 months for that appeal to be successful. He'll be home by then. He's fighting for his name back, he's fighting for his name back. He's fighting. You know, I mean, he lost. I was asked this question on Court TV. Do I think Sean would be able to recover from everything that's happened? Do I think he recover? So here's the thing. Young Thug has been out 6 months, almost 6 months. He's on paper now. Do you think Young Thug has successfully recovered from what he's went through? Yes or no? Put a yes in the chat if you believe so. Put a no in there. Has he successfully recovered from his situation? I think he can recover, but I think that he should focus on backing his children's dreams at this point. That's what I think he should do. I don't think he should be focusing on being on stages right now. I think he should put his energy in his kids' success because they are the future and they need to be able to be secure even after he's gone. And whatever dreams they have and aspirations, because he knows fashion very well. He can write books on fashion, write books on music. He can write books on, he can do many things by backing people. He's very successful. What we didn't hear is him being a bad businessman. We didn't hear that. He was never a bad businessman. He was a very successful businessman. We didn't hear that. Oh, I got the interview, guys. You know something? Court TV sends me the clips. I have the clips. It's in my office. It's on my office terminal. And I'm not at the office today, but it's in my office, and I'll post it. I'll post it tomorrow sometime. You guys just got to remind me because I got contractors coming in, but I'm gonna get that up. It's definitely in my office, and I just had to post it. I'll post it on this channel, and I'll make sure I highlight it because I thought I shared some of it. I might have played it in the video, but I'll post it as an exclusive reveal. I'll post it. And listen, I want to get too far off this, but I'm seeing what's happening with Doug. I actually was out there when he did his concert. Some of you may have seen me. I had to have my yellow on, my Jeet Kune Do suit on. Yeah, they know that was a Jeet Kune Do suit. Yeah, they know about that, but we'll talk about that later. You probably said, Mr. Byron, where's the Jeet Kune Do? What's that? But I was moving, shaking and moving. Listen, I was moving. Doug was moving. I was moving. Come on, Doug, let's go. And he hit me with that. You know, Doug, you still owe me the damn interview. You think I forgot? You owe me that damn interview. You owe me that interview. And you might owe Sylvia an interview too, but you owe it to me first. I've interviewed every big hip hop star in this culture. You name them. I've interviewed them. You don't slip away from this interview. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I also made some good money off you too, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I saw what was happening with certain content creators, Woody feeling a certain way, Thug's interview with my guy's show, DJ Scream Show, Big Facts. Shout out to Baby Jade. I saw Baby Jade out there. I know Baby Jade for many years. But I just have a problem. This is the problem I have. These artists, 99% of these artists are just that. They're artists. They put this persona out there, but they're artists. They're not putting in the gangster work. They're artists. And a lot of you guys think these artists really out there putting that work in. When I say that work in, they're actually kicking in doors, shooting up neighbors. They're not doing that. They send the other people on dummy missions. They send their followers on dummy missions. Their followers interpret in the music that they're about that life. We've learned from watching these trials, and I've covered gang trials longer than anyone on YouTube. And that's a fact. And I will tell you, I've seen how these guys fold in the courtroom. I've been covering gang trials where the real gangsters are not the artists. The real gangsters are the ones that are getting hit with the football numbers. I'm not going to talk about one of the trials I covered, but the real gangsters are the ones that put the work in, hid in parking lots and took in hospital parking lots and killed people. The artists are not the gangsters. The artists send out messages, sometimes through music. I'll be naive to tell you guys that sometimes it's communicated in music. But a lot of people won't tell you that. I've seen it. I've seen how these trials, where the real truth comes out in those phone calls, in those wiretaps, in those messaging. I'm getting tired of covering trials and learning that you ain't really standing on business. And I want to shout out somebody. You guys need to follow Hocus 45. I don't know if you guys know who Hocus 45 is, but he has this challenge out right now, and it's called Put Down the Flag, something to that effect, where he's telling people that are in these gangs, Bloods, Crips, put down the flags. Because it's a pathway to the prison. It's not the brotherhood that you think it is. It's really not that brotherhood that you think it is. These guys will sing when the opportunity presents himself. They will sing and tell on you. So that brotherhood, and I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of people that support gang culture up until a point. Up until a point. They support gang culture up until a point. And that's real. But he's trying to tell people that, and he's telling them right, you can end up in a RICO case because you're supporting a gang culture. And the Bloods and the Crips have been around a long time. So has the Hells Angels and the Nietas, the Latin Kings, the Black Spades, the Black Pearls. But some of them are established, some to build communities. But there's some that are really about criminality, and that's real. That's real. So, shout out to Hocus 45 for his attempt to get people out of the gang culture. Because the gang culture is not for everybody. And usually, when you're in a gang, in my opinion, from where I grew up at, it's a form of, you need protection. You need protection in your hood. You need that protection. But do you need that protection from the people that look like you or for the people that don't look like you? Who's going to do you more harm in that gang? A lot of gangs in the penal system. Just think about this. You go in as a gang member and you're put in a housing block with the ops. How are you going to survive? Because if you go in as a gang member, you got to keep that up. If you are claiming a set, you got to keep that up. Blood in, blood out. So I get he says denounce gang culture. I agree with it. Especially the way the laws are changing. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. I'm telling you guys, nothing lasts forever. It may look cool. It may provide you some temporary comfort. But ultimately, if you are literally doing criminality, you're next. They trying to take out the immigrants, and then Trump is coming for the gang members. And if you're just think about this. Think about J. Edgar Hoover. And you guys can do a little research. Google. Go ahead. Google's free. Think about how J. Edgar Hoover was moving back in the 60s. Think about who's the FBI director right now. And think about what he just said about Assata Shakur. He stepped outside and gave his opinion about Assata Shakur, who, and I could tell you, he wasn't even born. I remember what happened. She was shot in her shoulder and her back with her hands up. She fled to Cuba because they had a target on her back. Literal target on her back. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's why history is important. That's why it needs to be written in the books, and you guys need to be able to have access to it so you can do your research. That's real. She was shot in the back. It's not something that I read about. I remember when it happened. And I remember when the trial happened. And I remember what I was doing. I remember what was happening in 1977. There was a blackout in New York City. There was a mass serial killer running loose in the Bronx. His name was David Berkowitz. Some of you know him infamously as the son of Sam. Do your research. Her trial took place in New York State. And in 79, she figured a way. She bounced. She bounced. She changed her name from Joanne Chesimard to Assata Shakur. And the government was very upset. They had a bounty. They had, I think, over $10 million, $20 million bounty on her head. But Fidel Castro said she can seek political asylum in his country because he knew what her story was. He knew the story. One of her comrades was murdered that day as well. We can talk all day, guys, if we want to talk about some real history. But I don't want to. I don't want to bore you guys with the history, guys. They said, Mr. Byron, you start talking about Diddy, but no. But it's a point about what I'm saying here. It's a point about what I'm saying. I gotta take my clothes and do my laundry too, guys. So he said, Mr. Byron, you do laundry too? Hell yeah, I do laundry. Let me see if was questions asked me and asked here. Let's see here. Any question, guys? Before I go too far here, let's see. I love you back. How about that? I love you back. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I was playing basketball outside of 132 PS 132 in the Bronx when the lights went out. I was playing basketball. I was literally, I was nice in the Bronx. I was nice. I was, behind the back pass. I'm still nice. I think I'm still nice. I'll play any one of you young boys. Not your NBA stars. I'll play some of you young boys. You YNs. You want to play with the OG? You want to play, but you got to see what you got to do. You're going to play me basketball? You got to at least bust me out at least 50 push-ups. I know you in shape. Cause I went, oh, cause I'm gonna throw all this 220 pounds on top of you. I'm old school. I'm gonna throw all this weight on you. Why is he body checking me? That's how we did it when we was coming up in in 77 and the 90s. We threw our bodies on you. If we was on the hardwood, we played body. None of this, you gotta stay back. You can't touch him. No, 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 no. I'm backing you in. I'm coming like that. Throwing that body at you. And maybe I may throw a ball at you too. That's how we did it coming up. This soft basketball play, no hand checking. Man, listen, first I'm gonna take the ball from you. I'm gonna back you in the corner. I'm gonna take you all the way to the basket. I'm gonna take you, fake you out, and come the other way. That's how I'm gonna take you. I'm like, this is one of my techniques, so I ain't gonna give you all my techniques. But like, Mr. Byron, I'm gonna be ready for that. Then they made the players start putting on suits. Coming to the games. We didn't put no suits on. We coming in with our hoodies. Hold on a second, guys. Body check. Damon, am I lying? Damon, am I lying? Body check. That's how we did body check. What up, brother? Shout out to the podcast with Soul. Shout out to my brother Sean G. Sean G, we getting up. I don't know where you stay, man. You stay at the crib. Let Tisa tell I'm living in the car. Tisa said I live in the car. She said, Mr. Bar-. See, but I kind of brought it up myself. So what I did was I put a super chat in there. Listen, brother, I put a super chat in there. I said, thanks for the super chat, brother. I put a super chat in Tisa Tells Live and said, those government checks got you looking good. Let me say something about Tisa. Let me just say this real quickly. Tisa was sitting in the courtroom. This is from a very reliable source. She was in the public section. She never got a press credential. Wonder why? She was eligible for a press credential because she covered the case. Because she had to present ID. That's why she didn't. That's why she didn't get a. They would have people they had reporters in the jury box. Shout out to Dollar Miles. Shout out to Dora. Shout out to Charlotte R. But Tisa she didn't have, Sean, she didn't even have a seat, the same seat. They put her behind right in the middle. Sit your butt in the middle. You can't even sit on the edge no more. This is sentencing. The marshals are deep in that courtroom. The marshals were deep. It was so deep. They had reporters in the jury box. All the seats were taken up. But she gets on her live. This is how she be lying. Mr. Byron lives in his car. Mr. Byron, you're a fake reporter. Mr. Byron, you don't work for TMZ. Negro, I get more checks from TMZ by accident than you get in your YouTube world on purpose. Don't play with me. I can say that. What was your biggest payday I won't go there. Don't get me started. I would start taking you some of the artwork. This artwork gonna fit in my car, by the way. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. When I gotta turn up, guys, I gotta turn up sometime. But my man Sean, Little Sean, Big Sean, we're gonna have some fun. You're gonna come to the office, gonna do some content. We're gonna have some fun when you come out here, man. Right. Someone said to me the other day, said, Mr. Barr, she said, show us your house. Hey, do you really live in your car? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she just, listen, you guys got to go to that clip. I swear she was when I put that super chat in there, she was all over the place. You still living in your car? You talking about living in my car? What the hell are you talking about, woman? Which one? Which foreign car are you talking about? Which one? Do you really know what I do? Me and Tisa was cool. We were cool. I even tried to help her get a opportunity to be on, get a spot with TMZ. I tried. They weren't feeling her. Harvey and Charles weren't feeling her. I tried. I'll be honest with you. This is early on. I said maybe she cleaned up her act, but they got listen. They have lawyers there, and if the lawyers feel like you can't be trusted, they're not going to hire you. They're not hiring you. They're not doing anything for you. Shout out to the real journalists, Celia Simone. Shout out to, listen, and shout out to my homegirl. I mean, let me tell you something. I'm so proud of her. I am so proud of her. You know what I'm talking about. She's at the Breakfast Club right now. Who am I talking about? She's at the Breakfast. Lauren. I'm so proud of Lauren. She's doing her thing. Some of you don't know, I mentor talent. I've mentored reporters. I've told the story. I have one that's an editor for the Huffington Post right now, a senior editor. I mentor that person. So if you ever thought about getting into media, seriously, I have a media training course that I'm doing. We have classes. If you're serious about media, I have a media training course. That's real. Drago said, I mentioned you. Drago, what did you mention me about? What did you mention me about, Drago? What did you mention me about? Trent might be right. But I just can't say anything right now. Well, let me tell you something, guys, and this is real. I've helped some of the biggest celebrities in crisis management situations, big superstars. Some of you guys may know some of them. Some of you may not know because of contractual reasons. So when I tell you, I'm serious about this. I've been doing this long enough. I like to share. When you come and take the course, you're going to understand how to get out of crisis situations. And while I wasn't part of Diddy's crisis team, I would have made certain moves, in my humble opinion, that would have helped the team. Because I'm a strategist. And sometimes you have to have people that are removed. Plus, I had a very strong understanding of Puff from 30 years. From the parties, from the events, from the revolt conferences, to the vote or die campaigns. Like, people don't talk about that, but he'll be back. The great thing about Puff is he will come back stronger, better. He'll be like the Bionic Man. You remember? Some of you probably don't remember who the Bionic Man was. Lee Majors. It was an old show. Sean, I know you know what Lee Majors was. But Puff is just getting better. I promise you he's going to come back stronger, better. And he's going to help the community. He's better outside than inside. And that was even, and someone said something about Nicole Westmoreland and how she cried, and they were not happy about she crying. What are you talking about? Nicole Westmoreland did an exceptional job in the trial. People got emotional. I did not want to be in that courtroom watching his children having to beg this judge to do the right thing. Just think about that. As a father, knowing what was about to happen, I did not want to watch that happen. That broke my heart. And I would say that this is why decisions are important. Puff has to make very, very strong decisions in his life, because what he does trickles down to the ones he loves. And what we all do as parents trickle down to our kids. And we cannot, because none of our kids asked to be here. None of them asked to be here. So the minute you bring a child in this world, remember one thing: they never asked to be here. You made that decision for them. They should not be put under the scrutiny of others because of your behavior. I wholeheartedly believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. But ladies and gentlemen, I think I said enough for today. I really do. And I would just say that Usher, Chris Brown, stop interfering with my family time with my daughters. You can't be doing concerts with my daughters trying to pull up on me. When they tell me, Dad, I'm going to a Chris Brown concert, I'm going to an Usher concert, I'm like, wait a minute. You want to make me pull out the archives. I cannot even release footage on Usher no more that is not in a positive life because my kids will attack me. One thing you don't want to do is come under fire from your kids when you're talking about one Usher or... Wait, hold on. Even Cardi B, my daughter... Man, I don't tell you what happened with my daughter Cardi B. We're not even going to talk about that one. We're not even going to talk about that one. We're not going to talk what happened with my daughter Cardi B. I got to be very careful. You know, I know some high-powered people, but I got to be very careful. I can't talk about the people I want to talk about because my kids are like, Dad, what are you doing? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on my live. I'll see you guys on the next one. Got things to do Monday morning. We on the grind. Got signs to hang up. We got a lot of stuff we got going on. I appreciate you. I really do. Peace.